Good evening, and my microphone volume is about right tonight. Welcome back to medieval Italy, where Edda has fairly recently become Kaiserin of the Holy Roman Empire by founding the Holy Roman Empire, which is probably quite a good way to become Kaiserin. In fact, our problem now is how we ensure that anyone else who's a player character is also Kaiser or Kaiserin of the Holy Roman Empire. Because Edda is definitely not someone who would have been elected. Well, actually, she might have been on her own merits. Actually, yeah. Now that I look at her traits, she probably could have got elected as Holy Roman Emperor. So yes, how long has she been? So yes, she refounded the Holy Roman Empire back in January, and it's now May. It's having only existed for 14 years under Charlemagne and some unclear amount of time under Heinrich. So as we can see when he died, didn't he? He died in 936, so under 20 years under Heinrich. Let's see if we can make the Holy Roman Empire last a little longer this time. So I have a large sheet of paper here of things that I probably want to do to try to improve the situation in various ways. So perhaps I should first explain how the situation is non-ideal at present. It ultimately comes down to how the next Holy Roman Emperor is chosen. So, as kings and queens of Italy, in previous sessions, the Di Spoletos have used elective cavalcade succession, which means that the next holder of the primary title is chosen by an election among for which the candidates were all members of the ruling dynasty, which had the great consequence that since the player character has to be a member of that dynasty, you were guaranteed to get a playable character as the next holder of the primary title. However, under the princely elective succession that the Holy Roman Empire uses, princely elective, agnatic, cognatic, princely elective, the successor is not chosen from among all members of the ruling dynasty, but instead from among the union of the close members of the current ruler's family and the de jure duke or king tier direct vassals of the empire. Which means that large numbers of really promising Di Spoletos are ruled out of the succession because they don't fall into either of these categories. And Edda's close relatives, well, not many of them are alive. No, she hasn't been murdering them. Not her fault. So she has her 4 children, but the eldest of those, Inga, is only 7 and hence not likely to be elected as emperor. She has her sisters Candida and Adalberta, and I think possibly her uncle Arrigo may also be eligible, but maybe he's eligible by virtue of being Duke of Angria. He's eligible by one means or another, because Angria is one of the de jure vassals of the Holy Roman Empire. So we can see the list of de jure vassal territories of the Holy Roman Empire. Many of them don't. Okay, the direct vassals direct de jure vassals don't currently exist. That doesn't help us very much. But we can actually, of course, we can see them simply by looking at the list of candidates. So we can see a big pile of German dukes of one sort or another. And the problem is that the said German dukes of one sort or another tend to be like adults and have decent traits, and thus to be much more plausible candidates than anyone who's a Di Spoleto. And if, upon Edda's death, the empire passes to someone who isn't a Di Spoleto, as it's currently going to if she dies right now, then our player character becomes probably her firstborn son, and with whatever titles he happens to inherit, which is currently the duchies of Latium and Spoleto and the counties of Capua, Freistadt and Rome, i.e. all of Edda's titles other than the Empire.
All of Edda's personal holdings, yes.
So, we would quite like to improve this situation. We would also quite like to... sorry, I just operated a lever in my chair and I wonder whether I operated it in the correct direction. Possible my chair is going to go twang very shortly. Where was I? Yes, we have a list. I have a few ideas for how to improve this. I think the major things that we want to improve are, one, try to get more of the electors to be people who will vote the way we want, and two, try to get more good candidates. So we did a bit of the first of those last session, in that quite a lot of the electors are theocratic. They're prince archbishops and such like. So if we look at the list of electors, we have the Prince Archbishop of Lower Lorraine, the Prince Bishop of Trier, the Prince Archbishop of the Rhine, Duke of Saxony, Prince Archbishop of Swabia, Duchess of Franconia, Prince Bishop of Köln. So what this means is, first, that some of those are Edda's direct vassals, and she can nominate successors to those titles, and so she's done so. If we look under here, we will find I have nominated a bunch of members of the Di Spoleto dynasty as potential new bishops. Okay, only for a few of them. Only for the ones that are both elector titles and titles that are direct vassals of Edda, because one of them is in Trier and one of them is only an indirect vassal. So my hope there is that, because people are biased towards electing their own dynasty members, having members of the Di Spoleto dynasty hold these bishoprics will help to encourage those bishoprics to those electors to vote in the correct way. Of course, this only takes effect once the relevant bishops die or are otherwise removed from office. Conveniently, Prince Archbishop Bernhard of Swabia turned out to be plotting to murder someone, and because we have a decent spy master, Edda had learnt this, and so she has imprisoned him and stuck him in the oubliette on the basis, pretext, that he was plotting to murder someone, and this is likely to kill him a bit soon. Well, yes, precisely. You can only get away with this kind of thing if you don't have a liege who will grab you and stick you in a dungeon when you do it. Also, try not to get found out. Curiously, I think if your plot is successful, then you can't be imprisoned for it. It's only while it's going on that it's imprisonable. So, yes, so our hope is that he will not last long in the oubliette. Though actually, I think I have better uses for Jacob and should find a different, less useful Di Spoleto to stick in that job. Like, Manfredo looks pretty terrible. I don't think we want him to become Holy Roman Emperor, do we?
There's a fantasy novel on my shelves which contains an act called Death Magic, which, under normal circumstances, invariably costs the life of the caster while also assassinating the victim. And it is illegal in this society to attempt death magic. But no one ever bothered to outlaw successfully performing it, because you die anyway if you do that. And at one point, due to plot, someone successfully performed death magic without dying, and it turns out that they just haven't done anything illegal. So yes, we put in mind of that by your plots, which you don't. It's perfectly fine if you succeed at them.
So anyway, right, I've appointed a less useful Di Spoleto, Manfredo Di Spoleto, as the next Prince Archbishop of Swabia, because I don't actually want Jakob to become a Prince Archbishop, thank you. I have better uses for him. Might be true of Imone as well. I mean, I can nominate the same person to all of these bishoprics, and he'll get whichever one becomes available first. So possibly the thing to do is to just grab Manfredo and put him, nominate him to all of the 3 Prince Archbishoprics that we want to stick a Di Spoleto in. And right, he's currently listed as heir to the Prince Archbishopric of Swabia, of the Rhine and of Lower Lorraine. He will probably get Swabia, and then we'll have to find someone else for the next one. But that will at least mean that probably the least useful Di Spoleto will end up getting one of those bishoprics. Right. So, do I have a useful plan for this? So I had an idea of how I might... So in order to get more candidates, one approach, of course, is to obtain more close relatives. But the problem with obtaining more close relatives is that they start off being very young. And we've got 4 of them here, and at least some of those will probably turn out to be good candidates, but not for another 10 years or so.
There's up to a 17-year time lag or more, really, if you're trying to deliberately create more.
So, like, I think Inga might be a pretty a decent candidate. She is at least attractive. Haven't I got a genius somewhere? No, we've just got another attractive. But, yeah, there's a bit of a lag there. And it's not like we've bred... Edda was a bit of an accidental empress, and so she's not, like, actually good breeding stock or anything.
Unlike her cousin or whatever.
Yes. Something with a V in it. W in it. Valpurga, thank you, Verity. When I say a V, of course, I mean a V. So I think we want to get some more de jure vassals of the HRE. And one way to do that is to create titles. Like, we've got a lot of titles we can create. Most of them, and if we switch this in, have this in de jure mode, we can see whether they're de jure vassals of the HRE. So there's the Kingdom of Frisia and of Lotharingia and of Bavaria, and indeed of Carinthia and Germany, all of which are kingdom level vassal titles with de jure territories. I would be particularly worried about creating the Kingdom of Germany and giving it to anyone, because it is huge. I think we want to keep the Kingdom of Germany non-existent, because I think the way that you should run the HRE is to have it split into lots of little duke-level vassals, partly for historical accuracy, and partly because that way no single vassal gets powerful enough to be a problem.
You may then need to look, if you're going to be expansionist about this, and maybe you're not, then you need to look into ducal viceroyalties.
Yes. I mean, we have quite a large vassal limit by virtue of being of having princely elective succession. So that isn't a problem. We have the Duchy of Cour-Etienne, which is kind of tempting because it's a duchy, and like we're not actually trying to avoid creating duchies. Though it has the awkward feature that it has land, and we can't easily grab one of those counties to give it to our preferred candidate. So there might be a bit of fractiousness over who controls what counties and such like. Thing that I'm quite tempted by are these 2 titular kingdoms, Franconia and Swabia, which have no de jure vassals, and hence where there won't be any weird fights over territory as a result of granting them to anyone. It's kind of odd that they're kingdoms with no territory, but with no de jure territory.
Wasn't Swabia the one with the incompetent Prince Archbishop on?
Yes, but that's the Duchy of Swabia, not the Kingdom of Swabia.
Oh, no, not even the same place.
No, the Duchy of Swabia is no longer de jure part of the Kingdom of Swabia, because it's now de jure part of the Kingdom of Germany. Germany having occupied most of Central Europe for quite some time now, until we destroyed it. having killed three kings of Germany in succession. The fourth one was presumably quite relieved to merely be demoted to a duke and not killed as well. Then there's a pile of things down here that are of no use at all for our purposes because they're not de jure vassals of the HRE. Though actually I'm quite tempted to create the Duchy of Pomerania, because at the moment we have one man who is Duke of both Wolgast and Neumark, and if we granted him Pomerania, the Duchy of Pomerania, then he would have a de jure claim on Stettin. On the other hand, we are hoping to vassalise the Duchy of Meissen just as soon as it stops being at war, because Prince Bernhard, Duke Bernhard of Meissen, formerly King Bernhard of Germany, has rediscovered the art of being at war so you can't do awkward diplomatic things to him. And he's back at war again.
Well, you did just, I mean...
which means I can't diplomatically vassalise him because he is currently at war. I think as soon as he is at peace, despite his horrifically poor opinion of Edda, because we murdered his father, something like that. No, we didn't murder his father. We murdered his grandfather. Because we murdered his grandfather, declared war on him and stole the kingdom of Germany from him. And we're a known murderess, and zealous, and honest. Yes, anyway, he hates us, but he might still be willing to be vassalised by us because we're so scary. And it's better to be like a vassal under the protection of the Holy Roman Empire than being invaded by it. All the other nearby dukes are in a similar state. So when those dukes are at peace, we will definitely attempt to vassalise them for extra power and for reuniting Germany properly. So kind of maybe I don't need to create Pomerania, the Duchy of Pomerania, because all that would do would be to allow us to take territory off someone I'm hoping to vassalise anyway. But on the other hand, maybe it's helpful to tidy the de jure structure up a bit. Yeah. Also, I don't have much money. Let's not create it right now. So yes, I have this kind of a plan that I should find a county to give to some excellent candidate. I think I have some notes on who that should be, and then grant them one of the titular kingdoms, and then possibly do the same thing with the other titular kingdom. So, counties. I feel that ideally it would actually be a county in de jure HRE. Kaiserin Edda does hold 3 counties down in the Italian peninsula. Two counties in the Italian peninsula, Rome and Capua. And she also holds Freistadt. So Freistadt's de jure liege is the Duchy of Austria. Which is currently held by von Vels Janos, who is a vassal of Hungary. So, we could take Freistadt, and it's not like we're going to be successfully invaded by Hungary, and grant that to some good candidate, and that would save on any extra complication at the expense of spending one of our counties. So if we could say declare that the titular kingdom of Franconia, that the new Count of Freistadt would then also be titular king of Franconia, and thus I bet I can't afford to create Franconia. Why have I gone and just spent all my money on upgrades to my towns? State face. Yeah, I need 400 gold, so I'll have to save up a bit. So we could pick a good candidate, grant them Freistadt, create the kingdom of Franconia, grant them Franconia, and then they would be a valid candidate. Right, that's a plan. And I have another idea of a second county we could do this with, which is Basel, which currently Edda doesn't control, but she can plot to revoke it, because it's currently held by Duke Eberhard of Baden, but it's not currently directly held by Duke Eberhard of Baden, but it's not part of his de jure duchy. And that would feel like quite a good one to make. I don't know, give that one to Swabia maybe. I don't know. But again, we're going to need a bit more money to do anything in that area because we can't create kingdoms with only 330 gold lying around. So what else is there to do? That one's a job for a little bit later. So so we have a Di Spoleto who is actually already a de jure vassal of the HRE. He's just not a very good one as a candidate because he is, in particular, Italian. And most of the HRE electors are German and would thus prefer to elect a German emperor rather than an Italian one. But happily, all of his children are quite young still. So I think as they pass 6 years old, we should suggest that he might want to get them educated by a German. Which, since he's our vassal, he will obviously agree to. And that way we could probably turn them German and give ourselves a stock of next generation German Di Spoletos, one of whom will probably inherit this duchy and thus give us a possible candidate, especially if Edda herself has been educating them and trying to get them the traits that will be popular among electors.
Spoleto track the next generation.
Yes. So that's a job, but it doesn't need to be done quite yet because the youngest of them is still 5 years old. Or can I ask for arrange this just before they turn 6? Though the eldest is 5 years old. I mean, Archibaldo's 18, but he's also dead, and hence not very useful. I say assign guardian. Can I do that? I can. So it has to be someone in my court. We want it to be someone German. I mean, she would actually be all right. German and either gregarious or diligent. Can I just type gregarious German? No, I can't. And German? No. Why can't I do that? Can I not type? Is it that I can't actually ask for German people? No, I can't ask for German. Oh, maybe I can. No. Why am I only getting 2 of them? There are many more of them who are German than that. Okay, the search is weird. Anyway, it works well when searching for gregariousness. And sort by culture, that will do the job. Is there anyone there who's obviously better? Diligent is generally better than gregarious anyway, in teachers. Adalberta's only got a 3 there, and it would be better to choose someone with a 4, and that's all the Germans. Okay, let's go for a gregarious German then, in which case the question is why not Ida? Hang on. Oh no. Yes, he is excellent, except that he's Italian, which is unhelpful. Sort by culture, you horrible device. No, that's still not sorted by culture. Okay, I think I managed. No, that's still not working right. Oh, I give up. Well, I mean, Ida would do the job. Probably best not to have someone cynical.
Well, don't forget also you may want to leave them with someone for most of the time and then switch them away at the end.
Yes. but I sometimes forget. Not sure lunatic and has great pox are a good. Oh, she's also Occitan. Adelaide might be quite good, actually. I mean, I think I do have a plan to marry her off in a very short period of time, but so yes, Arrigo's children, and in particular Nuncia and Gregory in particular, should probably be turned German if at all possible, because that will give us a good source. I think the person I want to make into King of Swabia or Franconia is probably my lover Jakob, father of one of Edda's children. Let's sort these by age. So Jakob is a kind, honest, charitable genius. He is also proud, sadly, and ambitious, with excellent numbers. If I could get him to be the next Kaiser, that would be pretty good. So I think he is probably a decent candidate for the Kingdom of Franconia or Swabia. So another thing I should do is to try to just increase the number of excellent Dispoletos in the world. So the Jakob can't be dealt with until I've got more money. But I have remembered that I haven't been organising marriages for my relatives for a while. So what I should do is search for unmarried Dispoletos and try to sort them out. Unmarried and unbetrothed Dispoletos. So I have some plans which I've written down because finding all these people takes time. So Guerino, he is a bit meh, really. But he's got the right name, so we could comfortably get him married so that he actually starts producing Dispoleto children, even if we do end up stuffing him into a bishopric later. And I had an idea for him, so in general we're looking for some geniuses, and Clara Zuzicka is a genius who would like to get married. So my suggestion is that we should marry him to her. She's 20 years old, he is an adult, and so they can start having children immediately, and all being well, some of them will be geniuses. So, who else do I think? I have a note here that says Ludwig could possibly marry Ermengarda de Chatillon, who is 18 and a genius. Who on earth is Ludwig, anyway? Is it this Ludwig who's 8 years old? Probably, yes. So, my son Ludwig. There appears to be a bit of a shortage of very young female geniuses at the moment. I mean, I say that, but, you know, here's a nice 6-year-old. Someone slightly younger than him is probably a good target. He's not my son, sorry. He's just a random kinsman. Brynhilda's son. Hello, sorry, I'm just paying attention to IRC and catching up on it. Right, so yes, let's propose that Katerina, whom I have just found, should marry Ludwig because they're about the same age. So did I have any other... I found someone who looked like they might be quite good for Inga. Apparently, I like the look of Velf Conradina, so let's find Inga. Inga is my eldest daughter, and she is 7. We have quite a lot of eligible geniuses for her. Not including Velf Conradina, so clearly my ability to find people is being slightly weird. Oh, of course, we need a matrilineal marriage for her, don't we? Yes, that simplifies things. Yes, Velf, both genius and attractive, and Inga's attractive. And he's slightly younger than her, but not too much so. So I think Velf would make an excellent husband for Inga. I mean, yes, she loses a bit of prestige from marrying so low, but like, he's genius and attractive. What more could you want? Strong, but yeah, we're working on it. So, and a matrilineal marriage, and yeah, that seems like a good match for her. So, one issue is that at least some of the Despoletos we might want are not in our... want to marry to geniuses, etc., are not in our court. But what we can do is we can invite a suitable genius to our court and then send them out to be married to a convenient Despoleto somewhere else. And I really like the look of this guy. Augustine, commander of Norway. Genius, humble, cynical, charitable, diligent, kind. Grey eminence. 22 diplomacy. And would like to... And single, and will join my court. The problem is, of course, that if I marry him to someone, I'll do it matrilineally and he'll bugger off. Oh yes, that's a bit of a problem. I mean, maybe it isn't. Maybe I accept that we have to spread the joy of stupidly good chancellors around a bit. Yeah. Okay. Claire asks, who is the possessed one? Because I mentioned this earlier. So if we reset this and look for members of House Despoleto who might be good Holy Roman Emperors, part of our problem is we can't land women directly. So Valpurga, who is presumably still kicking around, slightly younger than me. So Valpurga, who was groomed to be Empress, we can't land, and so is not very useful. But I'm now confused because actually the possessed one... Oh no, there he is, yes. So Thomas, I thought, would make a pretty decent emperor. And like, he's got quite a few virtues, and he's a genius. His only vice is pride, which is like not a very bad one for practical purposes, at least, though I suspect it's still viewed with disdain by the church. but he is possessed. And people don't like voting for possessed people.
Especially not bishops.
And most of our electors are bishops. So we do want to target people with high piety and lots of virtues. But genius helps as well, I think. So yes, Thomas. Basically, my choice in of who to target as the next emperor was down to, if we look for genius Despoletos who are male and hence can be landed, we don't have a very wide choice. Liutbrand is a bishop and hence not very helpful. Antonio is, well, he's kind of all right. The other Antonio is too young, and then it's Thomas and Jakob, and Thomas is possessed. So basically, Jakob is my decent genius candidate here. And the fact that he is also Edda's lover is just accidental. Nothing. No nepotism going on here at all. So where were we? We were looking for geniuses who would join our court, and I was being grumpy that the one I thought it would be nice to have was also would then leave my court if I married him matrilineally. So maybe actually I pick one of the others for this purpose. I mean, I don't really much. This guy might be all right. So the idea here is I invite this guy to my court, and then I find some Despoleto in a foreign court whom I can propose that he should marry. So let's invite the two good ones to my court, and probably turn this one into my chancellor, and send this one off to get married or something. We'll work out who we're going to marry them to in a bit. So now I'm losing track of what things I have scheduled to happen, so I might unpause and allow some time to pass. We've got a warning here. Vassal inheritance warning. Count Gunzelan of Lausitz, his heir is also heir to the Kingdom of Denmark. Right. So there's a chance we may lose this county because its current heir is also heir to the Kingdom of Denmark, and if he inherits the Kingdom of Denmark, he might take that county with him. Which is a pity, but meh. I don't really mind losing random counties. So unpause, at least wait for some messages to arrive back. Plus there's the usual defensive pact faff, which I'm not even going to slightly try to take advantage of. Right, so Guarino.
With that for your threat to decay whoever works to do anything anyway.
Right. Accept your suggestion that Guarino and Clara get married. So Guarino now has a wife, who has thus arrived at my court. Clear out all the defensive pact bug messages. Someone is trying to kill someone else. You have studied long and hard under the old spy master in your spare time. That's the one who was disguised as a tailor in a basement in New York. No, not New York. And he has taught you much about the game of cloak and dagger. Your intrigue has improved, or he's taught me to tailor a really nice cloak. I do not fear the dark. Gain 2 intrigue. So Edda now has 9 intrigue points. Which means Kaiserin Edda the Just fulfilled the ambition to improve intrigue, which will give her a bit of extra prestige, and means she now, I think, has no valid ambitions. Right, so Augustin Mac-Augustin has arrived in my court, and our plan for him is to see if we can find a Despoleto to betroth him to. Obviously, the ones who are in my court are not so interesting. He is 20 years old and a genius. Adelheid is in my court. We should find a... Do I not have a plan for marrying off Adelheid? I should sort of find a husband for Adelheid. Oh, that was my plan. My plan was to marry Adelheid to the one who would become my Chancellor. So, well, I think we should get him married to Carlotta in Nice. I don't think we want to marry him to Inga. Didn't we? Haven't we already betrothed? Oh, I think we've asked for a betrothal for Inga.
The problem with doing this is you have to wait for things to come back.
Yes, I would have hoped that she would be locked as unavailable until the reply comes back saying yes or no, but apparently not. But anyway, I think Carlotta's a decent...
The troubles are not conducted with RCS.
Yes. Right, so that will be accepted. And we want it to be matrilineal because obviously we want any children of this union to be di Spoletos. Right, get this right, Ben. But because he's my vassal, he will totally accept palming off whoever she is, Carlotta di Spoleto, on a him or whatever. Yes. Anyway, send. So yes, my plan was then that the other guy. So Nuncia can now be educated into being German. Ludwig is now betrothed to Caterina Ventimiglia. Inga is now betrothed to Velf Conradina, matrilineally. We've caught up, but I still don't seem to have recent video. Yeah. Yes. What's going on here then?
Did you actually want to connect up the
Yes.
right thing again?
Well, let's reconnect the window capture and see if it works any better this time. That's better. I do apologise. Thank you for people who finally caught up and worked out what's going on. It'll be much easier to work out. Let's just check that now moves if I move things around. It went blank briefly when I reselected things. So let's just check that this is updating now. Scroll up to Denmark and watch the stream output. Though admittedly it scrolled up there, so it's probably good. Ka-chunk, scroll. Right, yes, that's all working correctly now. I apologise for that. I will have to remember that that's yet another thing that can go wrong and needs validating. In addition to the laptop comes up with the microphone volume at maximum every time now. We also have apparently the window capture can freeze. Yell in IRC if it freezes again. Right, where were we? Oh yes. So this guy is I've sent off the request that he be married to someone, haven't I? And I'm waiting for a reply. Meanwhile, who are you? I don't remember inviting you to join my court, but you are a genius, so presumably... Did I just do something completely stupid? Did I just marry the wrong person? I did. He was the one I wanted to keep. No, please withdraw that request. I don't think I can. I suggested he should marry Carlotta. And I can't... Yes, he's currently considering another offer. Yes, but I want to withdraw that offer. It's the wrong person, Gromit. Oh well, we lose him then. He ends up being Chancellor to the Bishop of Nice. Actually, maybe we can then invite him back to our court again. Because she's a mere courtier. Or invite her to our court. I don't think we can, actually, sadly. Stoats, well, you... Oh, no! Yes, because she's in charge of this. So he's now going to leave our court, much to my irritation.
But now, if you invite him, won't she travel with you?
I think he will refuse. He will not come because it's a matrilineal marriage.
Right.
I think. I will check.
If she's not landed though,
she might be willing to come, but I think she won't because she likes her liege. Let's have a look. So Nice, him. So note their court now has 7 members because Augustine has arrived there. But yes, I can't invite him because he is in lesser union and is in the same court as his spouse. And I could invite her, but she has found her calling and really likes Prince Archbishop Archibaldo. Oops, well, bye-bye. You will make a truly excellent Chancellor for Prince Archbishop Archibaldo. I do hope he appoints you as Chancellor. Right. Meanwhile, we have another genius who was the one I was meant to marry to Carlotta. Who is Yarkun. Who we don't... actually, he's got stewardship 26. Which makes him a damn sight better than my steward. Okay, we'll keep him.
Yeah.
Because, he's worth having as a steward. So, the person I actually wanted to marry someone to is my kinswoman Adelheid, who is, as I mentioned off-stream earlier... has got through 3 husbands so far and has had 1 child by each of her husbands, and she's only 38, so she can totally have more. So we should arrange to marry her matrilineally. No, that's not going to find the right person, apparently. Okay, we'll do it from our side then. Yarkun can marry matrilineally Adelheid di Spoleto. Apparently Adela also wants someone, but I think Adelheid is more important to get married. That was the wrong button. That's the button I want. So Adelheid to marry Yarkun, who should then remain in my court, and then we can appoint him as steward. So now she is on her 4th husband. Right, much better steward. Send him to do the usual stuff, which is research economy tech in Thingamy. Capua. So, let's go back to here. Oops. And just look for members of my dynasty not married. Search all. Sort by age ascending. So We could do with finding someone. So Tizania is 48 years old and thus not likely to have any more children. So we don't really need to worry about the fact that she's unmarried. Liutbrand is Bishop of Briesen and thus rather ineligible to be married. Adela di Spoleto is not in my court. She's in Sutri, so we would need anyone we want to marry to her. We would need to invite first. And I think so. Let's. She's going to be quite tricky. Well, let's see who we can find for her. She does have a child, so she's got a better ratio of children to past husbands than Adelheid, since she has no husbands. So let's look for an unmarried male genius who will join our court. That's not very helpful. Okay. Any unmarried male genius within diplomatic range. Okay. Any Christian unmarried male genius within diplomatic range. So Kostas, the Marshal of Lower Dnieper, would probably come join our court given a suitable bribe. Someone not too old. Or we've got the Protostrator of Azov. He is lowborn though, which is a bit... Ebon, Marshal of Anjou, who is a bit old. I quite like the look of Kostas, the Marshal of Lower Dnieper, who with a bribe would probably be willing to join our court. So we'll send him off to marry Adela. Okay, reset. Back to looking at Di Spoleto. So Adela's dealt with. I think there was one other there who looked like they needed immediate attention. Sorry, married, no. Right, there's a bunch of very young ones, but we don't really need to worry about them. There's Kunigunda, who is 13 and hence a perfect age to get betrothed. She similarly, though, maybe we can't do much about her because she's not in my court and she's a child. So, and we've already burned through, we haven't burned through every invitable genius, have we? We found another one.
The question of 13 being a perfect age to be told to do something. Did the authors of this game meet any 13-year-olds?
We're not telling her to do it now, though. We're merely arranging that it will happen when she's 16. So, sorry, just catching up on the IRC again a bit. Right, so Kunigunda, we should probably just do what we did with the other one and invite another genius to our court and then post them off. I'm confused. Isn't our capital in Capua? Am I terribly confused? So maybe she is, but no, we don't get a find her a husband button. Ah, she's in the Duchy of Capua, yes, whose capital is not in the county of Capua. She's there in Napoli. It says at court in Capua, but what it means is... yes, there it says a courtier in Capua, but that means a courtier in the Duchy of Capua. She is actually physically in Aversa, Napoli, which is not, of course, our court, right. So we should do the same thing again and find another male, unmarried genius in diplomatic range who will take a bribe to come and visit us. Because we invited one of them, Kostas. I'm not I suppose hugely in favour of Hectorios. But then you're like on to Ebon, who is really a bit old. Yeah, let's invite Hectorios. With a small gift. Right, so those two will arrive, and we should have marry and betroth them one way around or the other to Adela and Kunigunda. Big defensive pact. Right, so that's Hectorios, who is the elder of the two. So I think we should propose that he marry Adela. Okay, this may actually require carefully finding Adela. Oh, can we get him to convert to our religion while he's here? Yes, probably. Unpause while he converts. Meanwhile, to the nice scholar Edda, I accept your gracious invitation. Meanwhile, there is some previously arranged marriage that can apparently go ahead now. Christopher Di Spoleto, my nephew, is able to marry Arpad Zanet, and she's a convenient genius. Yes, go ahead. And the other guy has joined my court. He's also the wrong religion, but will convert. Right, so Hectorios is now Catholic, but still can't marry. We can't find Adela there, so we're going to have to do this the slow way. Now I type Adela Di Spoleto and she doesn't immediately turn up. There are plenty of Adelas here, though. There she is, Adela Di Spoleto, Princess of Italy. So if we go arrange marriage with her, then we can select, I hope, Hectorios. Obviously it has to be matrilineal. I didn't made it. Probably if I'd selected matrilineal here, she would have become available. Because it has to be matrilineal on the grounds that he's... but then it should... Oh, I don't know. Just press the button, Ben. Hectorios gets quite a bit of prestige from marrying her. Meanwhile, the other guy should now be willing to convert as well. Someone else has created the Duchy of Pomerania. I didn't realise you were in a position to do so, madam. To the great Kaiserin Edda, I accept your suggestion that Christopher and Arpad Zanet get married. Oh yes, that's that one. That they'd just grown up adequately for. Right. Kostas Karkid has... So Hectorios and Princess Adela are now married. We have got Duchess Ingiltrude of Franconia to like me lots. Let's just investigate her. She now has an opinion of me of 100%, so we should shift my Chancellor somewhere else. Where should we send my Chancellor? We should send my Chancellor to... We've got a nice big number. That's not sorted by a sensible thing. That's better. Tuscany. There he is. I think we're still waiting for that religious conversion. Or was I confused? Costas, no, he's already converted. Right. So he should be dispatched to marry Kunigunda, or rather to be betrothed to Kunigunda. Because she's 14 and probably in dire need of someone to be betrothed to. That will be accepted because she is somewhere way below me, my vassal. Right. So now, let's just wait for that to be accepted. Decided to accept your suggestion of a matrilineal betrothal between Kostas and Kunigunda. Right. Lots of people have rejoined the defensive pact as expected. Non-aggression pacts have been dissolved. Someone seeks to kill Duke Edgefrith. Someone seeks to kill someone else. Victorios has pissed off Sutri. Someone is trying to put Duke Liutbrand on the Holy Roman Empire throne before I'm dead. That's unfair. Give me a chance to find you a good candidate. Oh, I've got 400 money. Let's just go back to my who is still needing to get married. I think we've dealt with them all though. So, great, my dynasty, unmarried, sort by age. As far as I know, unmarried also means unbetrothed. Magnus, how have you managed to escape me finding you a potential wife? Like, you're 8 years old. We should probably be looking to find someone for you.
You've escaped the matchmaking intentions of your relative mother.
But you don't have any. There are no geniuses left for you. So maybe we should find someone strong. Strong is actually quite popular among voters. So we could go for Carlotta von Schwarz. She is admittedly Cathar. We could go for Lydia Luzicka, whose dynasty we're already marrying into. Though she's turning out with a pretty horrible set of traits. Let's go for Carlotta von Schwarz and hope she turns out well. Right, you've got a stutter anyway. So where were we? Dietvin's only 6. We don't really need to find him anyone, but let's. And we're already like scraping the bottom of the barrel a bit. Countess. We don't need a matrilineal marriage. Someone who's actually landed. and not genius but quick, and a reasonable age. Felicitor, attractive. Edda, 6 years old and quick. She might be alright. Club-footed, but that's not really a serious problem for our purposes. I mean, it is inherited, but... yeah, let's betroth them as well. Right, so that's Deetwin dealt with. Binhilda's only 5. We can pay attention to the younger children once they're of an age when they need education anyway. And then there's Lutbrand and Titania. Right, so that's all. Well, once that last one gets accepted, all of our... right, Stettin is being claimed. Duchess Ingiltrude the Second of Franconia, who just created the Duchy of Pomerania, thus gained herself a de jure claim on Stettin and has now declared war for it. Sorry, that's what you get for not being my vassal. Well, I mean, she would still declare war on you. I allow wars between my vassals. Right. And betrothal between Deetwin and Edda accepted. Right. More people joining the defensive pact. So, that, I think, is all of the marriages sorted out. We now have 422 gold, so were we to be feeling brave, we could start getting Jakob suitably landed up. So the idea is we make Jakob Count of Freistadt and King of kind of a coin toss really between Swabia, whose notional de jure capital somewhere over here but no one really cares, and Franconia that's a bit further north. Probably it should be Swabia. But first we have so many economic advancement points that we should really spend some.
Oh, because you've got princely elective succession.
Yes.
Are you going to have the problem that I had with the Byzantine Empire, which is that the capital ricochets around all over the place depending on who the emperor is and where their pre-existing titles are?
Oh, maybe in that the empire won't. In that my capital county may not pass to.
Yeah.
Thank you, Simon.
Is going to
may not pass to the next emperor unless I can actually arrange that my firstborn son is the next emperor. Well, I should try to ensure that my firstborn son is the next emperor then, even while grooming others. SGT suddenly wonders if Swabia is close to Jonesia, Groggia, Bilgia, Pupia, etc. Yes. Right, so we have 850 economy advancement points, which means we can gain one of these. I mean, the ones that we're getting by diffusion, we may as well keep getting by diffusion. So, castle infrastructure increases our castle tax rate and it unlocks buildings. Cities and temples increases our city and temple tax rate and unlocks a bunch of buildings. Much more rather more random buildings for our purposes. Improved keeps unlocks a bunch of probably fortification buildings. I mean, more tax is nice. I think I'm not bumping too hard against the buildings range limit, so I think I'll go for extra city and temple tax, because I set my city and temple tax rates high and my castle tax rates at 0. Right, there we go. So yes, we may have a problem with the county of Capua ceasing to be our capital, which is going to be seriously annoying, given how great it is. I wonder if there's a way I can stop that. I can presumably grant the county of... no, that... If I can tell when I'm about to die, I can grant the county to the relevant person, but I can't tell when I'm about to die, so...
Not that well, no.
Well, let's see what happens the first time, and then work out if there's a way we can fix it after the fact, and maybe try to fix it before the fact the next time. So yes, I think we can just let's save up until we've got at least 500 money. And then do our silly dance with Jacob. Oh, the burghers, the clergy and the barons all claim rights to spoils from shipwrecks that capsize outside of Rome. The rights to the spoils will be given to the church, the commoners, or the crown. So this is not very relevant. It affects the opinion of me of the Bishop of Ostia.
Who isn't an elector.
No, this is all in Rome, so no one's an elector. Who already has an opinion of me of plus 100 because he's my friend.
Oh, precisely.
The mayor of Viterbo, who doesn't have an utterly maximal opinion of me, or he gets me a whole 19.9 gold. Well, let's improve the opinion of the mayor of Viterbo then. Okay, that's Franconia going to war with Meissen, yes. Non-aggression pact breaking down. Someone trying to kill Gertrude Alahofinger. The mayor of Asti has been imprisoned. More people joining a defensive pact against me. Look, my threat is a mere 98.9% until we take Stettin. Oh, let's just check have a quick sweep around these and see if they're still at war. Yes, they are. They're all part of the same alliance anyway. Still 0% war score though. Like, come on, do something, you two. Right.
Nobody gets hurt.
We have a new Duchess of Croatia, Duchess Epiphania of Croatia, who is slightly surprisingly married to a Muslim. How did she accomplish that?
After a mercy?
Yeah, you can't usually do that. As in, usually that large a religious difference will cause refusal. Well, okay. I'm wondering if I should turn her Catholic merely for consistency within the realm. Obviously we can't do much about her husband, but... she is willing to be converted, so yeah, become Catholic, it'll make my life simpler. I mean, she's born in the purple, but... she's a born in the purple lunatic. bunch of stuff has broken down. Right. Epiphania is now Catholic, though her husband still is not. I can't demand his conversion because he is not a landed vassal of mine. More people joining the defensive pact against me. More people trying to kill other people. Actually, wasn't that someone trying to kill... Oh, I don't care. Someone I might have cared about, but I don't care about them that much. Oh! Okay, winds of what's name have shifted a bit. Everyone has ended up splitting their... I've managed, somehow accidentally ended up splitting the vote against my candidate so far that by my casting vote, Princess Adalberta, my sister, is actually heir to the Holy Roman Empire. And she is now heir to the Duchy of Latium, Duchy of Spoleto, County of Capua, etc. So I think we will not, as long as we keep the empire within the family, it looks like we will not end up randomly splitting the, randomly teleporting the capital. So that's nice. So no one has decided that they now want to vote for Princess Adalberta. It's merely that that 2 votes is now just barely sufficient. Because there are also 2 votes for Duke Liutprand, Duke Leopold of Chemavia and Duchess Ingiltrude of Franconia. Liutprand, I think, was the one who previously had 4 votes. So that's nice. People I've never heard of are joining the defensive pact against me. Still, I would like to get some slightly more popular candidates, because obviously this is rather dependent on the precise balance of everything. The moment one of those dies or becomes slightly unpopular, there we go. Leopold of Chamavin has now gained another vote. Anne Carling has joined the defensive pact against me. Presumably that Carling. Right, and I said when I had 500 money I would do my next stupid plan. So... Jacob the Mule, whom I gave a terrible nickname to because he happened to ask at the wrong time.
Isn't the same Jacob that was your lover?
Yes, same one.
Oh right, I see. Okay.
Lover and annoying commander. Despite being my lover, has only a plus 38 opinion of me because he was outraged by our switch to princely elective succession. I fired him from the council, and he's apparently both my lover and my former lover. And these somewhat cancel one another out.
Right, this is one of these on again, off again, generally fraught.
Yes. Now I'm about to give him an entire kingdom to himself, albeit a tiny one in Austria.
We can make him literally, what does it just say?
A drama king, yes. He will get the fairly tiny hilly county of Freistadt. There. Right. So you can grant him the county of Freistadt. And then, so he is now Count Jacob the Mule of Freistadt. He is still a commander of the Holy Roman Empire, as he should be. It's just that he has other things to do as well, so he's taken his helmet off. So now I should be able to create Click, 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 click. The Kingdom of Swabia, which will cost 400 gold and 200 piety, but will gain me 400 prestige. Bing. There we go. I am now Queen of Swabia. But now I should find back, 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 back. Oh, my back button has stopped working. I should relocate Jakob and grant him the landed title of the Kingdom of Swabia. So he is now King Jakob the Mule of Swabia. He holds one county, which is more than his de jure kingdom, but he should thus be a candidate for Holy Roman Emperor. So I should now be able to change my vote to... Hope this has worked. Oh.
Well, you get a vote in succession.
Yes, I should do.
I assume that when the succession is decided on, only living electors will count.
No, we elect in advance.
Ah.
Okay, he doesn't appear to be on the list. That's annoying. Maybe I need to allow time to pass so that he can be added to the list. Maybe it's like the role of the Regent House.
He isn't on the list. I think he'll be the list.
Huh. He still isn't on the list. But Kingdom of Swabia. He's the King of Swabia, which is de jure and de facto a vassal of the Holy Roman Empire. And it's a king level vassal. So like it's my only king level vassal. Why is he not on the list? I'm disappointed. Also I'm disappointed because we don't currently have the right person there anymore. I can vote for Dietwin or Brynhilde or Eckehard or Candida, none of whom will get it. Apparently I can't vote for Jakob. How disappointing. Oh well, maybe I'm going to have to do something else to sort this out then. Still, we've improved the opinion of Duke Martin of Tuscany. Still needs some work though. So how's this war going then? Indeed, how in general are Meisen's rather large number of wars going? That one's still stuck at 0% war score. That one's at 0% war score. That one's at 0% war score. Well, that was not the bishop I was hoping would die. Bishop Hartwig of Ostia has died at the age of 40 after a period of illness, and he's succeeded by Bishop Idwallon of Ostia, who I think was my steward, except that I just replaced him. But because I didn't update all the paperwork, the wrong someone relatively unuseful ended up inheriting. Well, let's arrange that his successor is someone I haven't arranged to have married off. Thomas, I think, I mean, he's a genius. If he isn't married to a Di Spoleto, he should be. It's a problem that you can't... this. I mean, Firek, admittedly, I would like to keep around and is celibate, so there's not much point in marrying him to anyone. With 0 learning, obviously he'd be an excellent bishop, or not. Yes, another suggestion was appoint that being court chaplain is good for getting piety, cause like you get 2 piety per month for being a court chaplain of the Holy Roman Empire, and piety is popular among HRE electors, so we should probably, once we have a halfway plausible, like we can actually vote for them, candidate who could be made our court chaplain, we should possibly make them our court chaplain just to increase their piety a bit. Oops, I didn't actually mean to vote for him. He's never going to get in. Adalberta has some chance. We vote back to Adalberta. I mean, yes, we could gain him a bit more piety by making him our court chaplain, but frankly, since he's Italian, there's not much to be done there. Meanwhile, it's time to hold a feast, because it's 2 years since I've held a feast, plus I have vastly more vassals than before. So let us hold a feast. Yes, there is a conjurer. I still need to appoint a successor to the Bishopric of Sutri, do I? Has someone...
Stop being distracted by the internet and stop.
Bishop Emrys, yes, right. That again is a... Well, probably stick one of your commanders in there, preferably an unmarried one.
Hoping Tumbled Iron will finish, but probably just after.
There we go. So we're having a feast. Some people won't be able to come because they're busy having wars instead. Spend enough to satisfy everyone's hunger. Sent out the invitations and discovered that half of my vassals are at war. 2 more people have joined a defensive pact against me. Someone seeks to kill Romilda von Babenberg. Someone seeks to kill Count Berthold of Verdun.
Is that because your vassals are winning wars?
I'm not sure yet. Yes, quite a lot of refusals, sadly. Someone else has joined the defensive pact against me. Someone seeks to kill someone else. More people joining defensive pacts and seeking to kill people. The guests have finally arrived, all is ready. The cooks have worked day and night preparing the food, and the castle has never looked lovelier. Welcome to my feast. Meanwhile, we can see the war going on up here among Franconia and Meissen. More people joining a defensive pact. More people seeking to kill other people. The Waldensian heresy has appeared in the county of Lüneburg. Well, let's fix that. Meanwhile, right, Duke Martin II of Tuscany now has a really good opinion of me. Let's go after the Duke of Ivrea. Oh, we can't move Thomas yet because he's only been there a few months. Well, that was a relatively boring feast, but everyone will like me a bit better for it. So I now have 29,000 troops at my disposal if anyone's foolish enough as to attack me or be in a situation where I could attack them. So I did have another... Did I have another Di Spoleto who I thought would be worth landing inside the Empire? Look for genius Di Spoletos. I mean, there's my Chancellor Thomas, but oh yes, he's possessed, so he's probably not actually a good candidate. And Antonio won't accept an invitation to my court. So maybe we don't want to do that silly dance with Basel just yet. Oh yes, I had a... Let me sort things out. Right. First, we had a heresy somewhere, but my court chaplain is already trying to repress Catharism in Chur, but on the other hand, the peasants have revolted up here, so we should do something about that. No, that's not my territory yet. Assume they'll have adequate morale by the time they get there. Seeing another Jacob, King Jacob, behind my spouse's back is becoming quite troublesome for me. The lies tear at my soul, and my longing to be with my lover is too much. Is almost too much. So options are: it's time to end such affairs and settle down. We break off our affair with Jacob, 25% chance of becoming chaste. It will work out if I give it a bit more effort. 50% chance of no effect, 30% chance of becoming stressed, 10% chance of breaking off, 10% chance of getting into a fight with my husband, or to declare I don't care for my spouse. I have an actual falling out with my husband. 50% chance of no effect. 25% chance of becoming lustful. 25% chance of becoming cruel. I mean, the thing is that Jacob is slightly more useful for providing children than my current spouse. We'll see if it can work out with a bit more effort and hope we don't become stressed. Excellent, we have not become stressed. Nils Froðison claims he would be a better marshal than Bishop Bogoris. By virtue of having one more martial point than him. Yeah, go on. We now need to appoint Bogoris. Oh, I need to do some general appointments down here, don't I? As commander. We don't currently have a master of the hunt. Or a keeper of the swans. Mostly choosing here based on being reasonably powerful and not much liking me. still don't understand why I can't... elect, vote for, or propose Jakob as next HRE. Annoying. I'm wondering if I should create a kingdom so that I can keep some of this territory. Like, if I created the Kingdom of Germany, then since we're no longer under Gavelkind, I can actually destroy titles. Obviously I don't want to in general, but thus it's not nearly as irreversible creating a kingdom. And because we're not under Gavelkind, it's also not nearly so problematic holding a kingdom, which is why it's not forbidden to destroy them anymore. And if my next character were, say, King of Germany, someone's formed an alliance, someone else has formed an alliance, 2 more people have joined a defensive pact against me. The Lords of Swabia, that means King Jakob himself. He's sorting out the laws in his new kingdom, apparently. Bishop Lothar of Cume has been released from prison. And we're putting down this rebellion in Lüneburg. Meanwhile, more people joining the defensive pact. The Modena claim war on Ferrara. Oh, that's interesting. I was thinking about declaring that war. So, Archbishop Wenzel of Ferrara, yes, the Modena. Someone in Modena had a claim on the county of Ferrara, and is thus pushing Prince Archbishop Wenzel out. Someone else joined a defensive pact against me. Whinge about my vassals being raised for too long, but that won't last, because this lot will be dismissed fairly shortly. There they go. My marshal is not currently doing anything because I swapped marshals during that process. So let's set him to researching military tech in Capua. I don't have a very good court chaplain, do I? Do I like have a better court chaplain just lying around, in fact? I do. Sadly, Manfredo is not really a good candidate for... Oh, pause. Thank you, that's not what you were there for. But, like, it's probably helpful to have the Spy Master be Catholic. Right. Yes, so... The best Di Spoleto I have conveniently at my disposal to appoint as court chaplain is not very good. But on the other hand, Archbishop Magnus of Lower Lorraine is A, better than my current court chaplain, and B, one of the electors. Is he? Yes, I think he's one of the electors for the Holy Roman Empire. I don't think making him like me more will actually help very much. But, like, it's still nice for my vassals to like me. So I think I'm actually going to appoint Magnus as my new court chaplain. And then send him back to Chur to keep proselytising to try to stop it being quite so. Cathar. Meanwhile, how are these wars going? Ah, Markvard is close to winning his war that's keeping a bunch of my potential vassals occupied. Ingiltrude is slowly winning the war for Stettin, but Duke Matthias is looks like maybe holding on to Westragothia, or rather, yes, and I'm slightly confused by where Westragothia is and why this is relevant. Anyway, Princess Brynhilda, my daughter, is in need of education and possibly a husband. So Brynhilda is not a genius, but she is a Di Spoleto. I'm already educating Ludwig and Prince Dietvin, so I think we need to find someone else to educate Brynhilda. So of people in my court, she is of course already German, so we mostly want someone adequately brilliant. Ideally military or usually diligent is good. We don't care about culture because I'm German, so she won't convert anyway. Quite like the little Epiphania. Oh no, that says Brynhilda might become Greek if I do that. Okay. Let's not allow that. Oh, because she's landed. Epiphania's landed, of course. Let's try to find an unlanded, diligent grey eminence. Unlanded or German diligent grey eminence. No, I will not, I don't think, grant her to Euphemia. I mean, gregarious and diligent are quite good in their own way, and the fact that she's a kinslayer is not that big a problem. Or we could send her to Symmachos to get military training. No, I think we'll send her to Euphemia, sorry. More people mucking around with defensive pacts. A daughter was born to two people for whom I can think of no reason why I care. Possibly they're in my court, yes. Oh, he's also one of my commanders? No. Why is he the heir to two bishoprics? I mean, possibly he was a commander, but now because he has such terrible martial, we've fired him. In which case we possibly don't want him to be successor to two separate bishoprics. Like, he's alright, wouldn't make a very good bishop. And really, since he's no longer a commander, that really doesn't matter. Let's no, we can't just search for commander. Symmachos would probably be a decent bishop. Okay, those two seem to go together. Oh, maybe I've just appointed him. No, I'm not. No, I'm just confused. I've already... Well, that's fine. Let's nominate Symmachos, and then when he inherits something, we'll nominate people to the others. Is there anything going on with Nils? I mean, he's bright. We probably want to find him a Despoleto wife, except I don't think there are any left. No, there aren't any left. On the other hand, if we're not going to marry him off, then maybe we should just nominate him as a bishop. Right. Right, that's as occupied as can be because the city of Volin is controlled rather complicatedly from elsewhere. Oh, someone's declared war on me. Ragnar of Heligoland has declared the Heligolander war for Thordis's claim on Galindia on Kaiserin Edda the Just. Well, good luck. I hadn't actually finished reading these messages. More people have joined a defensive pact against me. Oh, Grand Mayor Alighiero of Pomerania has joined that war for Stettin. Someone wants to kill someone else. Various other people have joined wars. No one's plotted to kill Edfrith again. Count Roberto has been released from prison. Just check, we've still got our imprisoned Archbishop, haven't we? But he's still alive. Right, so who are you? Ragnar of Halagoland, all the way up there, has decided that he has a claim on Galindia, has he? I mean, he's not completely trivial. But that should be enough to do the job. What's the supply limit up there? 14k. That should be okay then, despite the severe winter, because it's on the coast. Where even is Galindia? Is Galindia up here somewhere? Find Galindia. 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 Thank you. Oh, right, yes, it's all the way up there. Okay. I mean, I thought when you said Helgoland, you meant Heligoland, but no. Right, yes, thank you. He now utterly loves me. Can you please leave there? Have you finished? Have you feel you spent enough time in Florence? Yes, you do. Good. Please leave Florence. And go to... Well, I mean, the Duchy of Capua, really. Actually, no. Maybe Genoa, because it could offer me 1,500 troops. Oh, Swabia. Yeah, okay, we can't fix him. Obviously, he doesn't like me. He's imprisoned. The number I'm interested in here is the first one in the brackets, which is the maximum troops that this person could provide if, well, some completely counterfactual things, but in particular, if their opinion of me were 100%. So here, it's still reduced to 80% because I don't have excessively high levy rates. But essentially, that's where we get for those people whose opinion of me is less than 80%, the highest one of these numbers indicates the largest benefit we get from improving their opinion. And I don't know that we can do much about the Prince Archbishop of Swabia because he is in prison, but we could probably thus send our Chancellor slightly perversely to the Republic of Genoa to improve their opinion, to improve the Doge's opinion. Someone wants to kill someone else. Popo has been appointed as commander. That's nice. So how are the wars that I'm waiting for the end of going? 94% in favour of Mark Vard of France. Good. 43% in favour of Duchess Ingiltrude. Good. 33% in favour of Duke Matthias of Meissen. Well, okay. I don't really mind you winning that war, just like finish it. Someone was appointed as a commander. That's not very interesting. Peasants have revolted in Lüneburg again. Well, conveniently, I have this army here that I've just assembled to defend from someone else. Right, I think some things have happened. So that's someone has accepted the Duke of Ivrea peace offer. Prince Archbishop Manfredo of Swabia has inherited from... So that's Manfredo di Spoleto has become Prince Archbishop of Swabia, which is one of the elector titles. So all being well, he doesn't currently appear in the list. Indeed, we currently only have 7 electors, but he will presumably cast his vote soon. And if we're really lucky, he'll cast his vote for someone of his own dynasty. Because, sadly, Prince Archbishop Bernhard of Swabia died in the dungeons of Kaiserin Edda of the Holy Roman Empire. Which is what he gets for A, voting in a way I didn't like, and B, plotting to murder someone. Apparently his wife went with him, Manfredo, and has presumably then been slightly surprised to discover that he wasn't allowed to have a wife. Right, it was an Ivrean revolt war that's ended, uninterestingly. They no longer have any marriage ties because that marriage was dissolved because he became a bishop. Has one son, Magnus. But I need di Spoletos in those bishoprics. Right, let us merge those armies together. And indeed merge those fleets together. Damn it, why can't I select the fleets? I don't want... Oh, well, let's send the army. The army, anyway, wants to very quickly head over to Lüneburg and give those rebels a quick thrashing again, because they've been foolish enough as to raise... merge those fleets and send them to the nearest port to Lüneburg, which is Bremen. Because they've been foolish enough as to revolt like 3 counties away from a large Holy Roman army. So we'll give them a quick thrashing before we embark. So, my liege, says Duke Mangold II of Saxony, it pains me to say it, but there is a traitor in your realm. The rotten egg is plotting your downfall. I enclose the damning evidence with this letter. Your loyal servant, Duke Mangold II. So I have three options. Marshal, fetch me the traitor. Prince Archbishop Manfredo, his opinion of me decreases and he is imprisoned. Evidence? This is nonsense. Duke Mangold's opinion of Kaiser Eda gets reduced, and I tell him what I think of his evidence. Or, because I have high, 9 now, intrigue, I can think that it sounds fishy and notify the supposed plotter. Which we just get, this option is available due to your high intrigue skill. No explanation of what the consequences will be, but that's probably the appropriate one. I definitely don't want to imprison the traitor, and I probably don't want to annoy Duke Mangold, so let's choose that and see if anything comes of it. Someone has converted to Catholicism, good, and been released, good. Duke Adriano of Ivrea is now of legal age. He is now a dutiful cleric. I don't think there's anything we need to do as a result of that. Right, we have won Battle of Ivrea, Bardovic, sorry, which got us 0.2 military technology points and a small amount of prestige. So now this lot can toddle back down the Elbe and get on their ship to deal with Helgoland. Meanwhile, how are Meisen's wars going? 97% in favour of Markvard, 83% in favour of Ingoltrude, 36% in favour of Matthias. So the Markvard war should be over pretty soon. Just trying to find that button so that I can say yes, someone's been ransomed. And previously imprisoned. We are now down to 0 prisoners, aren't we? Because the only one we had died, yes. Who can we imprison at the moment? So who is Count Gotthard trying? He's fabricating a claim on my count. Duchy, well, good luck. Gerlach of Nordgau is not a elector. He's the leader of a plot to murder Berthold of Verdun. That's nice. Carry on. Guerino di Spoleto, what are you doing? You're trying to kill Thomas di Spoleto. No, I don't want you to kill Thomas di Spoleto. Stop it. Ah yes, this does now mean that since I've got a Di Spoleto into one of those... Oh, Duke Liutbrand died. We'll look at him at that in a moment. Since I've got one Di Spoleto in... Oh, that fleet turned out to be bigger than I'd expect. That army turned out bigger than I'd expected. There we go. We found some more fleets, don't worry. Send that lot. For safety, have them come ashore slightly to the south. So that will happen in a moment anyway. Yes, we need to find the next Di Spoleto for the various Prince Archbishoprics. So our candidate is going to be ideally my dynasty, male, not a ruler, and probably old, simply on the grounds that it makes them less likely to have children. I mean, ideally they'd be unmarried, but like we accept that this is not going to be necessarily going to be very convenient. If we put them in here, they will be unavailable for other landed titles. So we probably, in a sense, want the most useless. Christopher Di Spoleto looks fairly useless. He isn't my spy master, is he? Is Imone Di Spoleto even more useless? He wants to become a steward, but he's not really useful enough to become a steward. Just inspect him. He is married to a genius, but on the other hand, like, if we dissolve that marriage, we can always find someone else for her to marry. So yes, I think Imone, as the eldest and most useless Di Spoleto kicking around, should be nominated as successor to anyone who is an elector, which is Lower Lorraine and Bremen. Lower Lorraine trio, we don't control him yet. Rhine, Swabia, Köln. Oh, did I just make a pig's ear of something then? Swabia was, I'm sure, Prince Archbishopric of Swabia, I thought was one of the elector titles. Oh yes, there he is. Prince Archbishop Manfredo of Swabia. Right, good. So let's nominate Imone as his successor. So one question is, how is he voting and why? He's close. Like, extra +10 for being of the correct dynasty. He trusts my judgment, which gets him a +25, and he likes her. But sadly, he gives slightly more points to Duchess Ingiltrude of Franconia. We really need to work out a way to get Adalberta some piety. No, that's not a good one. Oh, I don't have a seneschal yet. We should fix that. Sadly, much of these do not give piety. Basically, the best one is Port Chaplain. We should really do this by the same means that we decide where to send our Chancellor, shouldn't we? Largest number of someone who would still benefit from another 10. So probably, actually, the Doge of Genoa. Grand Mayor of Genoa, apparently. Right, that will improve his opinion of me by a bit. Right, so... New Duke of Turgau. The previous one was popular as a candidate for being the next Holy Roman Emperor. But the new one is depressed and so may not last long. Well, just in case he does not last long, maybe we should arrange to marry a young Di Spoleto of some sort to him. To his daughter. Oh, we've got a courtier who's the wrong religion. Fix that. Right, meanwhile... Right, these are fairly uninteresting Di Spoletos. So why am I doing this? Hang on, no, why do I care? Well, because my hope here is that if Duke Andreas doesn't last very long, and depression is not good for people, his sadly non-genius daughter will... I would love it though. His sadly non-genius daughter might inherit, and thus if she were married to a Di Spoleto, then their offspring would be Di Spoletos. This is possibly a bit optimistic, but I think maybe it's worth using an obscure Di Spoleto for this job, like Gianleone. Yeah, go on. He'd prefer a matrilineal marriage, but he ain't getting one. Right, meanwhile... Yes, that lot are on their way. Guerino has been persuaded not to plot against his kinsman. Duke Luttbrand for the Holy Roman Empire faction has disbanded because Duke Luttbrand died. Werner von Schleswig, the court chaplain of Freisach, seeks to kill Simon von Schleswig. Well, okay. Right. Accepted that proposal of a betrothal, and if we're lucky he will never have any sons. Random courtier I discovered who was not Catholic is now Catholic. Oh, Queen Ingiltrude of Franconia has... Well, formerly Duchess Ingiltrude has declared herself queen. Okay, I was hoping to create that kingdom, but like I never really had the money for it, so whatever. Aha! Right, I have several things to do now. First, I have a new heir. Possibly because enough people are now voting the right way. No, that's a blatant lie, that box. If I unpause again, it will change, yes. She has got up to 3 votes now, though. Because Prince Archbishop Manfredo finally believes she's a good idea. Pause, Ben, we have work to do. So, my approach of appointing my kinstotes as Prince Archbishops is slowly bearing fruit. Marshal of Ulm seeks to kill Havel Nakonid. She's appointed herself Queen of Franconia, which is the title that was available. Which is a titular title, as in it doesn't have any de jure land, but whose de jure capital was in somewhere inside her territory. For information, Edda is currently 41 years old. There was a thing I was going to do, which was, I think these guys may not be at war anymore. Yes. Duke Liutpold the ill ruler of Trier is no longer at war, and therefore will probably be willing to join the Holy Roman Empire. Similarly, Duke Welf III of Thuringia. He is at war. How inconvenient. And obviously, Duke Matthias of Meissen, we have a new Duke of Meissen, is currently at war with Queen Ingiltrude of Franconia and Halle of Ulster-Gotland. Well, we've got one more. This will actually change the voting a bit, because this will cause us... Oh no, we already had the Prince, what's name of Trier, the Bishop of Trier, Prince Archbishop of Trier or some such. Prince Bishop of Trier as one of our voters, didn't we? He'll merely actually be my de facto vassal now, albeit indirectly. Right, my armies have arrived off Norway. Let us bring them ashore in the neighbouring territory, where they will not immediately run out of supply. Oh! He's refused. That's because he's at war again. Bastard. And thus believes he doesn't need my protection. Right. What? They shouldn't be out of supply. Oh, right. They're only getting attrition for having been there been away from home for so long. That's fine. They're not going to be spending very long there. They're just waiting to recover their morale a bit. We'll keep the ships here. Right, Matthias of Meissen has accepted Queen Ingiltrude's peace offer. The war has ended. Someone wants to kill someone else. And Stettin is now part of the Holy Roman Empire. Our threat is still not terribly high, though. Meissen, however, is still at war with Halle of Ulster-Gotland. And Thuringia and Trier are both at war with Semudor of Blekinge of Nerike on behalf of the King of Denmark. Who is busy losing a war and has thus called in his allies, much to the annoyance of those of us who are trying to vassalise his allies. Right, once this lot have got up to a reasonable thing, we will march them into Helgoland, which they will besiege. Helgoland, which they will besiege. Meanwhile, poor Duke Velf of Thuringia, who was too busy at war for me to vassalise him, is now in another war against one of my vassals. Duke Eberhard of Baden has a claim on Thuringia itself. Oh dear, the supply limit's only 4k. Well, we're going to very rapidly build a fort there then. Because, well, everything's just frozen up. So the Holy Roman Empire is rapidly building a fort before all of its soldiers die. The Independence faction has disbanded. The Lords of Franconia, yes, she's doing the similar setting up the laws in her new kingdom, just like Jakob did. Bishop Lothar of Cumae has been imprisoned. Okay, I don't think that's of any relevance to me. Right, we now have a fort there, which should fix the supply limit problem just in time for us to finish the siege, get 100% war score, and say, what on earth were you thinking? He pays me 8 gold. And apparently gets imprisoned. Dietvin. My son Dietvin, a reasonably plausible next emperor, though he isn't a genius, asks, will I rule one day? If you deserve it, you shall. Yes, diligent and gregarious are definitely good. Ambitious, slightly less so. But we'll accept him being ambitious. Not quite sure why we've imprisoned her. She wasn't even the ruler. We can ransom her for 10 gold. Go on. Right. And that ship can now return to my territory. Trier might not be at war again. Someone joined a defensive pact against me. Duke Eberhard has imprisoned someone. Thordis has been released. Right, now would you like to become my vassal? Thuringia, we know is currently at war because Duke Eberhard the Tenacious of Baden has just declared war on them for Thuringia. Meissen is still at war with Halle of Austergautland. Meanwhile, someone's trying to fabricate a claim on the Duchy of Ivrea. Chancellor of Ostfriesland seeks to kill his count. The Count of Monferrato seeks to fabricate a claim on the Duchy of Ivrea as well. are the troops of right home. X. Right, and can now be disbanded. Ethelhild of Mercia has apparently died. That's nice. I have no idea what she was doing in my court. Sophie Conradina seeks to kill Duchess Emma of Chemavia. Okay. I think he's still considering my offer of joining the Empire. Ragnar af Nordland joined the defensive pact against me. What's going on? Actually, that doesn't look like a familiar Duke of Trier. Damn it! First I offer vassalisation to a Duke of Trier and he immediately gets into a war before he can reply, and therefore replies in the negative. Then I offer him it again and he dies. Right, would you like to become my vassal? We will get Trier into our vassalage, but you're taking quite a bit of effort. You don't get back a note saying the person you offered vassalage to has died. Domenico of Milan has declared Milanese claim on Ivrea. Basically, those two are constantly at each other's throats. Finally, to the magnificent Kaiserin Edda, blessings upon you and your house. I accept to swear fealty to you and serve as your vassal lord. Right. Thank you, Duke Aldrich. Just quickly going through these, anyone who's voting in the wrong way. Let's scroll to the top of the list. Obviously, other than me, I vote the right way, and checking that I can't imprison them. Imprisoning Ingiltrud of Franconia is unlikely to help. Mostly the problem with my candidate is she's female. He's already voting the right way. I still don't understand why I can't nominate Jakob. Ooh. Notice that in this list also the Queen of Franconia doesn't appear. That's giving me another possibly now implausible way to solve my problem. Is it actually that king-level vassals aren't eligible? Notice there are no king outlines here. And she is blatantly my vassal, de jure and de facto. And it's not like we can't elect women in general. He says, wondering if that's true. Or at least we certainly can elect women who are, yes, in there. Orlaith, petty queen of Brabant. Not my vassal de facto, Irish, female but eligible. On the other hand, Queen Ingiltrude of Franconia, de jure and de facto vassal of the Holy Roman Empire, but king level, not eligible. Intriguing. Ian says, didn't I see a Jacob there? I think you saw... I've lost him now. Janos, Duke of Austria, who is not Jakob, but who keeps turning up when I search for Jakob. Except apparently he doesn't because... Oh, hang on, no, because... Scroll up. So if I type JA, I get Janos, but not Jakob. Yes, I was scrolling fairly quickly, because I was looking for the gold outline on the portrait that shows a king, because Jakob is a king. But I think kings can't be eligible, which means there is actually a stupid approach to disqualifying someone, which is make them a king. Like, bring into existence some moderately unhelpful kingdom like, say, Frisia. I mean, I could similarly make them a vassal of one of my vassal kings, say Frisia. This will obviously only work if there isn't some other person that they all suddenly start voting for instead. Indeed. Look who's the other popular candidate. Duke Philibert of West Frisia. If I were to make Duke Leopold of Chemavia and Thingy of West Frisia, one of them into King of Frisia and the other into a vassal of the Kingdom of Frisia, then I could kill two pretenders with one stone. And like, I'm not too scared of doing this. Oh, I've got some other buttons to press, haven't I? Kunigunda has apparently come of age while I wasn't looking. Not sure she's a lot of use to me. That's fine. She is betrothed to a convenient genius. Matrilineally. So Costas will disappear from my court, but they will hopefully produce some decent Di Spoleto children. Heike Di Spoleto, my niece, is apparently in my court and of a reasonable age. Is a niece close enough that we can nominate her as Holy Roman Empress? No. So she is breeding and voting stock, probably, for the most part, especially since she's female. So it doesn't really matter who educates her. We kind of want her to turn out nice, but meh. Possibly more importantly, we should find her a potential husband. Is that a good educator? Pleased to see she's pregnant. Because her husband's a Di Spoleto. I quite like the look of her for no very good reason. So, yeah, and I'm not too worried about granting out the Kingdom of Frisia because it's de jure tiny. We can afford to create a kingdom at this stage. And then we can see if that does work to disqualify those two. Let's do that. So our plan is pick whichever of these looks vaguely the more plausible as a immediate vassal. I mean, they both have quite a high opinion of me. I'm kind of intrigued by this lot because their dynasty's about to die out anyway. Like, there's yeah, I mean, oh, it's a weirdly thing. Elective. So it may be that they'll find someone, but like there's almost no one there. It's elective, so I suppose someone must inherit it. So that won't actually fall back to me, because they will find someone to elect, even though there's no one of their dynasty lying around. Friesland, Tremavia is elective as well, so meh. So we can't really tell which way either of them's going, so we may as well just look at the current holder. He likes me more and is content, and content is a nice thing to have in vassals. So I think my last stupid act before I go to bed, more or less, well, we'll see how the voting shakes out, is, I think, to create the Kingdom of Frisia, grant it to Duke Philibert, and make Duke Liutbold his vassal. And see what comes of that. So yes, that's the de jure Kingdom of Frisia at the moment. So she should immediately grant that to Duke Philibert of West Frisia. Presume I'm not actually allowed to revoke any titles. No. Crown Authority does not allow that. Oh, it's the Crown Authority of West Frisia, which is interesting. But anyway, grant him the Kingdom of Frisia. So let's just look at the current situation. Currently, Duke Philibert of West Frisia is one of the people who gets one vote from the Prince Bishop of Köln, and Liutbold of Tremavia gets 4 votes. I'm slightly worried that I might be wrong about second level vassals. So I think actually I should grant it to Liutbold, because I'm more confident that he will be rendered ineligible by this. Right, so he is now King Liutbold of Frisia. He's currently still getting 4 votes, but we haven't allowed time to pass yet. So let's transfer the vassalage of the Duke. Now, where is the Duke of West Frisia? Has he already gained? No. Oh, maybe he has. Vassals. The Duke of West Frisia has already become his vassal, simply because that he passed with the kingdom. Right. Okay, so let's see what happens now if we look at this. So he's currently available. Try unpausing and seeing what happens. And maybe this won't solve the problem. In which case I've merely reorganised things a bit. Patience is a virtue, but sometimes it gets on my nerves. My kinsman Ludwig never loses his temper, always waiting patiently for a chance to retaliate. Ludwig is my ward, but not actually my son. So we can get him patience, which is probably in general good. We can hold him up as an example, which will make him unpopular. We can thank the Blessed Virgin if we want to get him Roth, which is good for martial skill, but not much good otherwise. Or we can try to bring out the fire in him, which might make him Roth. Oh, that's only a very small chance of getting him to become Roth. That's a much larger chance. I mean, patience is just generally good, though. We'll give him patience. Right, yes, a random thing. People have left my court. But, sadly, okay, I was wrong. King-level vassals are, in general, it would appear, still allowed to be candidates for Emperor. As indeed are indirect Duke-level vassals, because he's an indirect Duke-level vassal. Useful information, albeit not useful in the way that I had hoped it would turn out to be useful. Yes, there's Philibert still in the list. Right, okay. So, I still don't quite understand why the titular kingdoms don't count, then. Even though they're... Someone's joined a defensive pact against me. Someone's fabricating a claim on Saxony. And Scania. Meanwhile, you're still at war. Because UK Heart the Tenacious is trying to take your territory off you. I can take over this war. It, like, doesn't direct... This is mostly useful as a way of finishing it quickly. I don't think I care, actually, because if he's going to win it anyway, which I think he is, we don't gain anything much by stepping in there and making it end quicker. It's worse for our threat. And that war is still ongoing. Can I offer to join his war? Is that the kind of war I could offer to join? No. Could I join it on the other side? No. Right, so some of my tricks are bearing fruit in that we've got one elector who is now a Prince Archbishop. Dietvin is now 8 years old. And a Di Spoleto. So we might be able... We are educating him, aren't we? Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Put my vote back to Adalberta. She's our best hope still. He loves me. He doesn't realise that I was trying to get him disqualified. So, what was I thinking? I had a thought. Maybe it wasn't a good one. Yes. So we should check Dietvin and make sure we're doing the right things with him. So yes, he is my ward, so I'm bringing him up as best I can. I should make sure that before he's 16 he gets transferred to probably a Grey Eminence. And then we immediately appoint him as good learning, hasn't she? As court chaplain, I think. Possibly even we try to get him Mastermind Theologian, which would give him lots of learning, which would also be good for his piety. Because we want, ideally, to get him lots of piety. Because that will make him a more popular candidate as well. Unfortunately, we can't see piety here. But like we can see that Liutbold has almost 1,000 piety. And there's a bunch of nice artifacts. Philibert has 500 piety. Our preferred candidate, Alberta, has almost 500 piety. Where did she get all that from? Just from having... Our zealousness, of course, is helpful, yes. Zeal, rather, possibly. I presume we can't get one of the other candidates excommunicated. I mean, that one we can't. That's even less likely. He is really popular. Now, that one was slightly close. I think I can only see these essentially because I can nominate successors to them. And currently they are all Imone di Spoleto, in the hope that that will nudge us up one more vote. Just really need to get more piety into her. He is just too... he's still got, like, vices and such. But, yeah. Anyway, I don't quite know how to fix this. Maybe I just declare myself Queen of Germany and hope that that doesn't... hope that at least that inherits correctly. But, like, in 8 years, Dietvin will be of age and then everything will be fine again. Well, we'll see. I don't think there's much more to do tonight. We're, like, waiting for... We've managed to at least incorporate Trier into the Empire. Duke Aldrich of Trier is generally happy with the situation. retract the Bishop of Trier from under him. Duke of Meissen is still at war. The Duke of Thuringia is still at war, but with one of my vassals. Nothing much else is going on. That county has apparently managed to become part of Venice, and so now we're at war. Rather, the Duke Aleardo of Modena is currently at war with Venice in his claim on Ferrara, and is currently losing it. I'm kind of tempted to have a go at that. But maybe not now. Wonder if I'll still remember it when we next come back to this. Because if we could... Also, did that fort survive that I built up there? No. Because, yeah, I worry that Venice is a bit strong for him. He was attacking the bishopric of Ravenna, the Prince Archbishopric of Ferrara, sorry. And then he suddenly found himself attacking Venice instead when it took over the place. And I think he may be a little bit in trouble as a result. Because he's got 1,000 troops and Venice has 8,000. Most of them hired. But the HRE has 32,000, so, and if we join a war, that doesn't activate the defensive pact against us. So, yes. I think that will be a task for next week. Let's leave the map focused, if we can, on that little battle, so that we know that we ought to take it over. No, don't scroll down. There. Carefully move the mouse pointer without hitting the edge of the screen. So, we will save now, and we'll come back to this, and hopefully stop Venice taking what is rightfully ours. Until then, good night.